Welcome to the Top 200 podcast with your host, Professionalism.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is Social Forum from High School Top 200 and this is the Monday Morning Meeting Podcast. I'd like to welcome everyone back again for this 2024 season. Like I said, I'm Herschel Froome. I am the creator of High School Top 200. I'm also the only one that works for High School Top 200. So everything that you see and everything that comes through High School Top 200 all comes from me. This first podcast is just an introduction for all you new parents, because I know that a lot of you parents that have kids who have just made first 15 are probably a bit wary about what this is, and if you've signed up for the first time on my website, which I can agree with you because I also feel the same, is very confusing, and it is not my fault because I don't know how to do it. But the first person that set up my website, she just made it so terrible and so hard to do, but I was just grateful because how was I going to do it? And I just paid the money, and this is the product that I got. And so all the changes that I'm doing to it slowly, as funds come in, it gets changed, but it is pretty expensive. Even the people that I use is pretty expensive, and so I'm really careful about what I change and how I change it and when I change it, so that I have money to travel to games and things like that. Because I just kind of wish that I was a coder, or there was a coder in my family, because then I'll just make them do it, pay them the money to do it. But yes, I do understand that it's hard to navigate, to follow the instructions of getting into a profile or losing a password or something, and even messaging me. I don't know how to do that. I go through the best that I can into the back end of the website, and I have messed it up a few times where the coders, the web designers, and the IT people have gotten angry at me for touching stuff. I was like, well, how am I supposed to do this if you guys don't fix this up or charge me $900 to change one thing? I was like, cut it out. So I'm just going along as I can. Like I said, it's just me. I take the photos, I do the videos, I do the media, I do the research, I do the homework, I do the contacting everybody. I do the schedules myself, I write all the articles, I do everything for the website, and so yes, everything that goes through comes from me, and I am the one I am the one to praise and blame at the same time. Send all your thanks because it feels good, and also send all your criticism because it helps me learn more and helps me get better at what I'm doing. And for those that are new, and just so that everyone knows what this is and how this came to be, and those that have heard this before, you don't have to listen on from here on 3 minutes in, but High School Top 200 was created out of a gap in the biggest sport in our country, and so as I was sitting at work one day, I'm a big follower of high school, of NBA and NFL. I love college football, college basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport, but I follow even high school players in football and basketball in the States. And so sitting one day at Smoko, when I was younger, with a bunch of old fellows that would have given up on inspiration and whatever, they were just sitting around, and then I just started looking at things in New Zealand and how they were, and I thought, alright, I wonder why we don't have this here. Why aren't we talking about our kids? Why aren't we talking about the best rugby players in high school? Why aren't we promoting all these kids? And when I was young, I used to buy Slam magazine, and that's an NBA. Oh, it's not an NBA. It's a basketball magazine, but Slam magazine. When I was in 2006 was the first time I ever saw Slam magazine, and even in there, I read about high school players, and some of the first high school players I read about were Tim Thomas, Kobe Bryant, Lamar Odom, when he wasn't like a druggie, Alton Brand, all these guys in high school. And and this is when I was like a third former, like a year 9, and I was reading about these guys in the States, and I was thinking, far out, like they know all these guys, and then they used to have rankings in the back, and then I used to read them and go, they have rankings in, and this was like even before anything, and so all of these kind of things were the things that I reflected on when I started asking questions about what was our high schools doing, or where are all our superstars. I was like, I was seeing all these guys on TV, but like, where did they come from, and what schools or what backgrounds, and things like that. And so I never really knew anything about them. I even remember at school in rugby news, and the back page used to be like a Fresh 15 back page, and I remember when I was at school, I even see my cousin for the first time, Nick Fitzsimonu, and his name was on the back, and he came from St. Pat's Town in Wellington. I never knew anything about him, but when I seen his name, I was like, Fitzsimonu. I was like, wow, that's my mum's last name. And I asked my mum, I was like, who's this fella? And she goes, oh, that must be from blah, 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 blah. And so I was thinking, oh, okay. So the first time I ever saw, like, first thing in New Zealand was on the back page of the New Zealand rugby, the rugby magazine. And so they had, like, just the back page dedicated to it. And I remember thinking, even when I saw all these names at the back of rugby news, and going, oh, this is the New Zealand secondary school, like this is the New Zealand team. I was, even back then I was thinking, oh, how do they know? Like, who knows? Like, how did they find all these kids? Like, how did a kid from down in Southland make it over somebody that was from Wellington, or someone from Hawke's Bay make it over someone from the East Coast, or someone from up north make it over someone from Waikato, or how did these Auckland fellas beat out these guys from Christchurch? And I kind of just thought about it and just blew it off, kind of thing. And so all these kind of thoughts came back to me when I was sitting there at Smoker, and just that, oh, this must be the rest of my life working at Fonterra. Earning really good money, and Fonterra is great when it comes to getting paid, well, when I was there. But I was thinking, fine, it's got to be more than this. And as I just keep thinking about it, and then I sort of just kind of started doing homework in 2012 about it, and I just thought, fine, what if I just started myself? Why don't I start something, some kind of ranking, some kind of, whatever, and I just thought about it from then. And then I thought, well, if Sky's doing something, they play like one game, there's no real context to the games, we just saw them and thought, oh yeah, that's cool. Look at that kid, he looks pretty mean. But then I also looked at it from a scouting point of view and going, well, how mean is this kid? Like, on a scale of what? Like, and against who? Because, yeah, he's killing that team, but what makes us think that these teams are two really good teams? They might be just like second division teams that we don't even really know. So like I was thinking like that, and kind of just going around in my mind. I was like, okay, well, I started searching up on Facebook and in 2012, and looking around and looking for anything First 15, any like pages, like fan pages and stuff like that. I found, I think it was just the Sky one, was just it. And even when I was reading through Sky's page, they had nothing really there. Even when they had like games on, they had no real context behind or stories behind what we were going to watch that next week. And so the way that I started was that I watched the Barbarians game, And that's when I saw like Damien McKenzie and like those kind of guys. And then I looked at the schools that they were at, and then I looked at what years they were in. I was thinking, oh, okay, well, Damien McKenzie's going to be coming back next year. He seems like a pretty good name. He's ripping up in this game anyway. And I thought, oh, okay, so there's this kid named Ruben O'Neill, and he's young enough to come back too. And I thought, oh, okay. And then I started looking at all the other players that were in and saying, oh, well, this guy is too old, he's not coming back. This guy's a little bit old, he's not coming back. And then I started doing like homework on it. So I started I found rosters, and I found like little snippets from schools. I started searching up names, things like that. And I found a kid named Atumoli, and Mikey T was another one. RIP to that fella. And I started looking at how much like, well, I started finding out that there was just so small information on all these boys. And I started to realize how much work and dedication a lot of these kids put into it, and it made it even more attractive to me to then sort of pay respect to these boys that put in so many hours and so much dedication and sacrifice, and all those early morning wake ups and runs by themselves, and time in the gym, and cutting out a bunch of food that that they love eating, and they just thought, oh no, I've got to do this for my team, I want to do this. And then I started learning about different teams, and because I'm from the Waikato, I went to a school called Church College, and we were a basketball school that just had rugby players there. And when you're Mormon like myself, you either play basketball or you play touch, and those were our activities because that's what the boys want to do. So everyone that comes to Church College, you're all pretty much basketball players, and your second or first, talent is rugby, and we're all kind of like that. And being at Church College, our rivals were St. Paul's Collegiate and Hamilton Boys, and we just fully hated it. They hated us and we hated them. And to this day, and I admit all the time, like, people think I'm biased towards Hamilton Boys, and they were saying, why do you talk about them so much? Oh, trust me, I don't feel good talking about them. Because even when I look at that uniform, I look at that school, I look at those grounds, I say to myself, I was like, man, I can't stand these fellas. But I have like so much respect for the dedication that school puts into it. So like, I'm not going to be a hater and go, just because I hate them personally from like back in my childhood, that I'm just going to keep that same energy. I was like, no, that's childish. Like, who cares what I thought as a young kid? Look at all these new kids now and how much they put out. I started learning about Hamilton Boys, and when they had the switch and attitude, and then they started bringing out all these rugby players, They started bringing out all this talent, and they started rising in the ranks of having all these New Zealand secondary school players every single year. They started having New Zealand secondary school players every single year, and it's part from, and like, coaches have a bunch to do with it, and so I started finding out about that. I started finding about powerhouse schools around the country, what the competitions were, because even I didn't really know about it. I knew what the Super 8 was. I didn't totally understand where it came from or how it came to be. Of course, I knew about Wesley because that was our other rival when I was at Church College, and we played them every year in rugby and had a fight with them every year in rugby. We played against the school St. Stephen's, which also closed down like Church College did. I knew about Te Aute because Te Aute was our rival as well, and we played them every year. We had a fight with them every year. And then I started learning about the 1A and what that was, how many schools that were in there, and the Wellington competition. The CNI actually started in 2014, I think it was, and has now grown into this big, massive, and in my eyes, one of the sort of power competitions in New Zealand. And I've also heard that, the CNI was going to break up and I hope they don't break up. I hope that competition stays together because that one's really, really important. The travel must be pretty crappy for them because they go through the same thing that Super 8 do when it comes to traveling. So does the Miles Toyota Cup down in our Premiership down in Christchurch is the same thing when you have to travel from Nelson down to Maru and to Marlborough and that. Just like those must be long trips, but all these competitions. I started learning about all of them, what goes into them, and then started learning the players and traditions and all that kind of stuff. And so in 2013, that was my year that I started, and I do all the stuff myself. I do all the rankings myself. I want everyone to know this is just opinion based. This is true fact to me. That's what it is. It's a fact to me. And you can agree and disagree, and basically what it's for is that I put out my opinion based on what I see and what I watch and what I get sent to me. Because people send me games, people send me clips, and then I give my opinions and my rankings on it. What you're supposed to do with those rankings is take on board what I've said and then go, all right, I'm going to go to the game and I'm going to see if Herschel's right about this guy. And then you get to the game and you go, okay, Herschel said to watch this boy, this boy, this boy, this boy, and this kid's supposed to be, one of the top, one of the top 20 players in the country. This team is supposed to be a top 5 team in the country. That guy's supposed to be the top year 12 player in this year. That guy's in the top year 11, top 60 year 11, and then you're supposed to form either your own opinion based on what I've said, and get people to go and watch these games. Get people to go and watch these kids play, and see how passionate these kids are when they play for their school, when they crest on their chest. I want everyone to see that same thing that I see, and see these guys before they're even superstars. See these guys even before the money matters or the contract is signed or that jersey is earned. I want people to see them play with their mates and them haka on, every challenge that they get. Like, I want people to see that kind of stuff and putting context behind it so that you know what you're watching. Like, I'm not going to present everything like these are the 2 best teams in the country. These are the 2 teams. I was like, no, I'm not going to present that. But what I'm going to present and paint a picture of is that these are 2 teams that are middle of the board and they're fighting to get to the top. They need to make that top 4. I'm going to paint pictures like that. I'm going to present things like that. I'm going to present that this kid is pretty close to being a top 50 player in the country, and he is looking at making the Blues under 18s. He's looking at making the Crusaders under 18s. This kid here is a top 10 halfback in the country, and he's looking at making a statement for himself to be that in the eyes of the selectors. Remember, I'm not a selector. This is all my opinion. This is all opinion based. All right. And so when I started this, I knew from the start that I was going to get pushback, because that's just kind of how it goes. That's just kind of what it is. And I knew that from the start, because I'm not from rugby. I'm an American football player. I wanted to play in the States. I had my little stint over there and then came back. And then I pretty much gave up sport from there. Had like this sports depression where I just thought, I wanted to be this. I had goals of being this. I made wrong decisions and came back to New Zealand. And then I just thought, stuff everything. And that's kind of what I was in. And so I knew that not coming from rugby, I wasn't a professional player. I wasn't in any rep teams. I trialed like 2 times for the Northern Regions, and older guys would know what Northern Regions is. But that's basically your rep. That's basically putting the Chiefs and the Blues together, and that was a rep team. Was putting a Chiefs and the Blues together and having an A and B team picked out of that, and that's how we did our reps back then. And I trialed twice for that in my year 12 and year 13 years. I trialed twice for that. Didn't make it, obviously, because I wasn't as committed as what everybody else was. I was big and I was strong and I was like athletic and stuff like that at 6'5", and I was a 16, 17-year-old. But I wasn't committed like these other guys, and I found that out when I was there. I was thinking, bro, you guys do this much work, and I was looking at it from the perspective of like, oh, I just want to be an American football player. I don't care that much about this. I was just like, oh, cool, I got chosen to trial. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, thanks. And I didn't mean anything to me. Not like it did to these other guys, and it's pretty much why I didn't make the team, is because these guys cared a lot more about it. You know, they devoted themselves, and I just didn't have that in me, because it just wasn't something that I cared about at that time. And so when I got into this, I knew that I wasn't going to be a name that everyone would know from rugby. I didn't play, I wasn't a rep player, wasn't, NPC player, ITM, or wasn't even close to that. I wasn't in rugby circles. I wasn't this up and coming, rugby coach or anything like that. So I knew that it was going to be hard to convince people, but I just thought I would just do this, and then I'd kind of let the work show itself, and then and prove to them just through the work and dedication. So that's how I got to this point. It's just hard work and dedication. Like Mayweather, I just like that thing that Mayweather says, just hard work, dedication. And that's exactly what I've been doing, is just hard work and dedication. I've almost given this up 4 times. And parents and kids in my off-season have asked me, can you just do one more year? And even in my selfishness, I always think, man, no, stuff this, man. Like, why do I have to hear 15-year-olds like talk about me like that? Why do I have to have parents nag me about this? And principals, just like warn me about coming to their schools, like, you can't fail male players. I was like, well, bro, the kids want it. I don't care what you say. I was like, the parents are telling me to do this. The parents are saying, come and watch my son, and you're telling me that parents don't want it. I have to go through all these different things. Like, just like the same right now with the 1A. You've taken away the viewership from the 1A. And it's hurting, and this is just in my opinion, and I feel my opinion is way better than everybody else's, and means a lot more than everybody else's, because I've been doing this for 10 years. I know parents are not the ones complaining about my kid being filmed on the rugby field. I know players are not the ones complaining about them making a mistake on the rugby field and people are going to look at it. I know that it's not the coaches also asking for this either. So if the players, coaches, and parents are not asking for them to take the cameras away and to take the viewership away, it's just the principals. And in the 1A, they have control over that. And that's fine, and that's up to them. But I also know that in this world today, your one clip can make you, or can fulfill your dreams of becoming, or giving you the opportunity to become what you want to be. And just like any other clip, and just like any other thing in this world, they come and go so fast. So like even embarrassing things that may happen on the field, you get a falcon or something like that, kicked in the nuts or whatever, that's only going to live on for like 2 or 3 days at the most. There's only so few memes or video clips that hang around for that long, and usually they're not like rugby ones like that. So everyone's got this psychological mind of, thoughts of like, oh, this is going to haunt that kid forever. It's like, no. Because those kids that take the field are worried about winning the game. They don't worry about really anything else. They don't even care that they go, "Father, this is going to be a televised game." Then they do their haka, then they kick the ball off, and they don't care about that. They're going, okay, this is my role, this is where I'm standing, this is where I need to be, this is where... They've all told me this. So many kids have told me this. This is not something that I'm just thinking of myself. This is something that I've told, and then I've asked parents to go, how do you guys feel about it? They go, no, well, how am my son supposed to get seen? How is he supposed to get seen? And just like this here, just like my platform, it's opinion based. Just like rep selections is opinion based. So if that selector does not like your son because he doesn't jump off his left foot but he jumps off his 2 feet, or he doesn't like to get his head into the dark spaces but he tackles really well in the outfield and out on the edge, your son may not get picked up. So your selection is based on one man's opinion and one selector's opinion. And if he doesn't like the way that you're playing, or your son doesn't fit what they want, no one else is really going to see your son. Whereas for me, I put it out there like this, and I go, this is my opinion. Go check out my opinion, see if I'm right or wrong. So the big difference here is that like selectors have gone, well, we're going to select a team and these are the best players. And then that's kind of it. You don't get to even like have a say in it, or you don't even get to, press them a little bit and be like, oh, why that kid and not this kid? Or why did you pick him up? Or what does he carry that? And selectors never have to answer that stuff. They never have to answer that stuff. But that's why I'm here. I'm here to give someone another side. We go, no, yeah, Herschel talked about this kid. I went down and I saw he's pretty good. I was like, I saw him against this other kid, but they select this guy. I didn't think he was that good. But then they don't have to answer to it. You just have to accept what the selection is, and there's no real pushback. So mine is just about pushback, but mine is about pushback on your own opinion of the kid that I've talked about, and then now you've gone to see go on, and you're like, oh, I didn't actually think it was that great. That's how it kind of is. Now, because the games are not played on Sky anymore, these kids have missed out. These kids are missing out. I now have kids wanting to move, and their parents wanting to move their kids from the 1A to the Super 8, because they know that the Super 8 get off on, I think it's Fakaro, the multi-television on YouTube. They do such a good job that Super 8 every single year, and I think CNI should jump on this too. And I think the Wellington competition, and I think Christchurch, the Mars Toyota Championship or Premiership, they should also jump on this. As everybody in the country should jump on this multi-television live stream, and they do such. And any sport that you want to see in high school, they do it. So all the volleyball, or I've seen the softball on there. I've seen touch. I've seen some multi-sport. My nephew used to play multi-sport as well. They play that on there. I've seen swimming on there. I've seen athletics on there. I've seen everything. Multi-television do such a great job, and that's how it should be done. Everyone gets to see. I get to do my opinions on the Super 8 games. I get to write up my previews for the games, and then people get to read it and they go, I'm going to see if Herschel's right. And then they get to watch it along with me, and then me and parents have discussions, and then I help learn from that too. Kids go to me, hey Herschel, like you thought I was like this, but what about my game here? Did I not look better? I was like, actually, bro, yeah, you did. And there's people that change my mind, because that's what it's about. Like, I don't know everything. I don't even pretend to know everything. I just tell everybody what I know. And whatever I pick up, I relay on to everybody else. Like, people change my opinion, I go, oh, cool. I don't look at it like, oh, damn, I should know this and I should know better than them. I was like, no, it's just looking from a different perspective. I only have my perspective, my opinion. I love it that someone goes, hey, Herschel, have you ever thought about this and how this player does it? I was like, oh, true, yeah, actually, I didn't realize that. Coaches have corrected me a lot. Sports directors, principals that have talked about their players, like, hey, I've got this boy, talked about it, I was like, can you watch this? And they see what it is, and I was like, oh, yeah, true. Actually, yeah, I haven't seen it from this side before, and I'm glad you told me, and then I changed my opinion on players. Parents, kids have told me about it too, like, I'm not above being wrong. It's like, I'm fine. I don't see it as being wrong. I see it as like, cool, I'm getting corrected. And now I know a lot more because someone just corrected me. Go, hey, no, it's not like this. If you look at it like this because of this, and they'll go, oh, true, yeah, sorry, bro. And I'm fine with it. And like usually I answer when there's like if I'm wrong about something and you approach me with like, hey Hirsch, can I talk to you about something? Instead of like kids do this a lot, and it's just a kid thing where they just like, man, you stupid fat idiot, like you just like this, you don't like my friend. And straight away I was just like, sweet ass bro, be a tough guy on me. Because I know you're not going to do it in real life. It's like these are little kids. You know, it's like I have no care at all. But if you approach me properly, I'm always keen and eager to listen. Always keen. Because I don't know everything. And I don't even pretend to know everything. I just know what I know. And when I'm wrong, and I get corrected, I'll be like, cool. Now I know something a little bit more. And that's how most people should do it. That's how most people should think about things. It's like, you don't know everything. You just know a bunch of stuff about it, but then someone's going to have something so small and so intricate, but makes a massive difference in your thinking and in your opinion. So I take all of that kind of stuff on board. All of the stuff that I do this year, from my own recordings, from my own phone, from my own posting, is all based around trying, because I'm not promising anything, but I'm trying to get as many players talked about, seen, and then offered an opportunity. Because what I've noticed about kids is that kids just want an opportunity. They don't want it given to them. They want the opportunity to prove it. And I think as a parent, we think that kids just want it. They go, no. If that guy's going to come watch me, I just want him to come watch me, and then I'm going to prove to that guy that he should select me. I'm going to prove to that guy that I should be considered for a rep team. I'm going to prove to that NRL scout that I can transition from rugby to league, and just come and watch me, and I'll show you how good I am. And I've actually changed my opinion on kids when it comes to sports and opportunities, because I kind of thought for the first maybe 3 years of doing this, I thought kids felt entitled to opportunities. I thought that kids, even though they worked hard and stuff, right, I thought that kids thought that it should just be given to them, and they took a lot of things for granted. But I've noticed, maybe like after the first 2-3 years, that kids didn't want to be given stuff, they just wanted to be given the opportunity. Because they really wanted to show what they could do. Because they put in so much time in the morning, they put in so much time, during school hours and after school hours and weekends when they didn't have to, night times in terms of recovery and things like that, that they go, I've worked on all of this, let me show you what I can do. So my goal out here, and my goal for like your kids, and the reason why I do this, is that I want to try and create as much opportunities as I can. I want to try and create a platform where scouts, where recruiters, where pro teams, where universities, where club teams, overseas interests like universities overseas, come to this one place. They've got all the names there for 3 different grades, being year 11, year 12s, and year 13s, and they're able to watch the progression of over 1,000 kids. Remember, I do a top 200, that's year 13s and year 12s. Those names won't stay there. It gets changed every 2 weeks. The year 12s, the top 100 year 12s also changes every 2 weeks. And the year 11's top 60 changes every 2 weeks. So we're not looking at 360 names of players. We're looking at about 1,000 players for how many names come through those rankings. Because as the year goes on, players start to fall off and other players start to get better. Some kids pick up the game just like that from one Saturday to the next, and they go, oh, I finally get what this is. Finally get what the coach has been saying and what they've been telling me to do, blah, blah, blah. So they start going up the rankings. I talk about a lot of players in my articles, and that's another place where your name can get brought up too. I'm trying to put kids' names out there as much as I can, so that the right people can see the word, or see the names, identify the kids. That's why I take photos. I try to do as many close-ups, and which reminds me, because my camera's starting to mess up. I've had my camera for 10 years. I love my parents so much for buying it for me when I first started this, and I need to get a new one. So if you've got camera hookups, just let me know so I can take better pictures. And I take it off the faces. I do a lot of close-ups so that selectors and recruiters and scouts and universities know what the kid looks like. They know what their face looks like, so they can take their photo and go, okay, this is the kid we're looking for. He kind of looks like that kid's not really him. Kind of looks like he's got a tattoo on his neck. That's not that kid. This one. And I've got to say, you bloody idiot kids, all you kids who have a stupid name that's not your name and you've made it up, chuck some numbers in it, chuck some symbols in it, change your name if you want to be a professional player. Do not have dollar signs. Do not have star symbols and stuff like that. If your name is Herschel Fruin, put Herschel Fruin. If your name is Peyton Sheehan, put Peyton Sheehan. If your name, if your name is something, even if your name is Islander and it's long, have your name that you're known by at school, so that these guys know who to ask for. You can't ask for money dog, like dollar sign, or bloods up, Crips down, whatever. It's like they can't ask for that person, bro. Change your name to your actual name. If you're gonna have numbers on the end of it, at least make it like the year that you were born or something like that. Don't have it something so ridiculous, because then they can't find you. They don't even know who to ask for sometimes. When they got to school and they go, oh, but we don't really know what this kid's name is. We just kind of saw him. And remember, your kids don't have Facebook. Your IG and your TikToks, stop doing stupid stuff on those things. Stop doing dumb stuff on that stuff. You can lose a contract and a scholarship off doing dumb stuff on your social media. Don't get tagged in dumb stuff either. If you're somewhere and some idiot does something, don't get your name tagged there. Take their tag off. Tell your mate, don't tag me in that stuff. Because that's what everyone's looking for. Like recruiters and stuff are looking for clean players that can handle being a professional environment, and that they know that you can be a professional in those environments. Do you think a 27-year-old man wants you as a young 18-year-old in the changing sheds with them, knowing that you're the idiot that did this on your Facebook page, on your Instagram, and they're going, bro, don't hang around me, man. I don't want that stuff. Or those, those pro players are going to look at you when you walk in and say, is that the idiot that was riding on top of the car? They're like, why do we want this kid? Kids are going to be kids. Teenagers are going to be teenagers, and that's whatever. All right. But if you choose to be a pro player, and that's what you want to do for your career, you can't do it out of the dumb stuff. You have to take it off. You have to be professional from a younger age, and that's just what comes with it. All you Islanders as well, stop doing all that stuff. If you've got gang-related family, you've got gang-related stuff, and that's out of your control, that's fine. You just can't put those colors on there. You can't do that. So if you have a gang background, that's fine. Even scouts and recruiters and stuff, they don't care about that. They just don't want you to promote it like you are doing that. If that's your dad's stuff, if that's your cousin's stuff, or that's your uncle's stuff, that's fine. They even scouts and that, they don't care about that stuff. They just don't want you to push it as that's who you are, and that's your brand. Because that's the kind of stuff that matters. And if you want to ride like Hyundai with like that stuff, then nah, if they're not going to take me with my colours, then they can't take me. It's like, trust me, bro, no one's taking you. No one's taking you. And I guarantee that your father or your brother or your uncles or your family that's like in these gang things, and you're saying, oh no, I'm going to ride for the colours, I bet you they're going to be angry. I guarantee they're going to be angry. They're going, what are you doing, man? Don't worry about this. Go and play your sport. That's your dreams. That's what you've been building to. Go and do that. Leave the stuff behind. Islanders do that all the time too. I've seen it heaps of times. You're not ride or die for that stuff. That's not what you ride or die about. Because your family's going, we're so proud that he's great at rugby. We're so proud that he loves league. We're so proud that he's got this opportunity. And you want to go, nah, bro, colours, bro. Like, what? So if this is what you want to do and this is your profession and like you're looking at this like this is my career, you got to get rid of all that other stuff. Start acting like a professional now, and that also means your grades. That also means your grades, because they want to know that you are doing something other than playing rugby. That you're doing something other than you're doing league. Because they don't want the responsibility from when you finish your career, however that finishes, that you now got nothing else to do. Have other interests. I always talk about this thing about the triangle thing of your life. That's if you have your rugby, you have your league or your rugby, whatever you're doing, or whatever your sport is. You have your other interests, whatever your hobbies are, and that's like hobbies or education, things like that. Then you have your faith, whatever you believe in, whatever your church or denomination is. Make sure you keep those three things strong. Don't drop one of those off, because you're going to collapse. You need some balance. When you finish your rugby stuff and you're ready to do hobby stuff, do the hobby stuff. If you go to church every Sunday, go to church every Sunday. If you don't drink because that's what your religion says, then don't drink with the boys and don't feel like you have to. Be sober driver. I worked at a nightclub for 12 years. I was a sober driver for 12 years. All my mates, all my friends that I made at the club. You don't have to join them. And people have more respect when you do stand up for things that you believe in and that you find true to yourself as well. Be that person. But don't let those three things drop off. Have your career and what you're aiming for. Have your other hobbies on the side or your education that you have. Keep that alive, and then keep whatever you believe in alive too. Whatever your denomination, whatever your beliefs are, hold strong to that stuff, because that's what made you the person that you are and got you to that point. I'm here to tell everybody and show everybody what I know about getting into this next level, what I know about what everyone looks for in terms of wanting players, wanting professionals, wanting a good guy in the sheds as well. A teammate that can get along, a teammate that is determined, that doesn't give up, that doesn't suck. Don't be a sook in those changing rooms. It's such a bad look. And when I talk to the recruiters all the time, and they've told me about boys that have spent a week in their club and all they're doing is just moaning about what time they get up. Why can't I eat this? Why do I have to take this? Why are we doing this? It's and they just question everything all the time. It's bro, we could get somebody else. And that's pretty much what happens. So I'm here to create these opportunities so everyone can get to. I'm here to share my knowledge on what the next step is, or how to get to the next step, and what you do from there. My aim is just to get opportunities for everybody, to make sure everybody gets some kind of limelight. And I'm not just talking about the stars. I'm talking about those that come off the bench. I'm talking about those that are coming through the ranks. I'm talking about those that take care of the media pages. I'm talking about all these people that put so much into this level of rugby, all these volunteers, all these mums, all these dads, all these aunties and uncles and grandparents, and all the teachers and stuff that give all the extra time to this. I'm here for them, and I try and create opportunities so that all of this is paid off when they get to see that player that they helped get through. You think that these people that have helped all these pro players get to where they are not proud? That they just used to cook. They used to just cook for the players and the after matches. You gotta. One thing that I've noticed a lot is that And Islander boys, you guys have got to be more upfront with this, because I know that like we're not really this way, but when you walk into a room, command attention by saying hi to everyone, acknowledging everybody and that they're there. And Islanders don't do this stuff a lot because we're more hierarchy thing is that like, oh no, I'm just a small time fella. I'll just come here, go sit in the corner. I'll wait till they need me to come wash the dishes or, you know, pack up all the chairs and sweep the floor and stuff like that, and I'll just keep to my level. That's kind of how Islanders are. There's no disrespect. That's why like there's like a lot of things that Islanders do that, you know, other people don't, you know, understand, and it's just the way that we're brought up. Like that's why you never see Islanders shake your hand and look in your eyes, because you're asking for something different. Like, but like you guys always go, how come Islanders never look us in the eyes? Like, why? Do you want to fight them? So that's pretty much what you're saying to them. It's like you shake their hand really hard and firm, and then you're looking in their eyes, you're going, hey bro, you're like, oh shoot, you think you're saying this, or you're making a statement by doing this. It's like, he's saying, it's like, oh, what did I do to you? You want to go? It's like, we can go around the corner and see you comes back. And like those differences, but like Islanders, when you walk into a room, we acknowledge everybody. Acknowledge everybody. Shake everyone's hand, be thankful for them there, go to the ladies in the back, ask them if they need help, shake their hand, make sure you thank them, all those kind of things. Even parents from other teams, thank them for coming. Thank them for coming. Aucklanders do great with that kind of stuff, where they thank, you know, opposition sides and all that kind of stuff. Thank all their parents for coming. But and after functions, if you see even parents from the other team, go introduce yourself and say thank you for coming to the game. That's fine. Just make sure that people feel wanted when you're around them. Be a presence to them. Be a positive presence. And I'm just saying this to Islanders because I know Islanders don't really do this stuff, because to us it feels like something different. But I think you kids do it well. I actually like the way that they do it, because theirs is about being a presence. You know, theirs is about that, whereas ours, like, we show it in a different way. But that's what High School Top 200 is, and where I'm at this time. And any of you parents out there, any of you players out there, want to ask a question, please don't feel shy to ask the question, because I've been doing this for 10 years and I've heard pretty much all the questions that you can ask. So you're not really asking anything that's outside of this. Kids, just a heads up, if you're going to approach me or ask me something on my website, don't threaten me, because it's just funny to me, because I know that you guys can't do anything, to be honest. But like, it doesn't make me angry. It just shows me how immature you are, and it doesn't do anything for your friend that you're trying to promote. And you know, I get this all the time. I get this all year, every year, different kids. But it's just something that, just take this on board and don't do that. Because if you get to my point where I don't like it, then I will come and find your dad. And I'll show him everything, and the thing is that, like, some of you kids out there, and the way that you talk to me, I know that your parents have not raised you to be like that, and that's the sad thing. Is that like, and I know that. I know it's just kids being idiots, but sometimes, you know, that stuff is, I think it can trigger the wrong people. I don't care, because I don't have like an ego like that. But just be careful about what you say to other people. I don't care about it, but just be careful, because I know that if your parents saw stuff that you're writing to me, they would feel embarrassed that you're saying this stuff. And if they're not, then it's just like, well, then your parents got to think about what they're doing too. And then I'll really come see your dad. But anyways, guys, that's me from High School Top 200. I'm Herschel Fruin. Love you all. Keep in touch. Write to me. And let's get the season going, man, because I'm freaking pumped. I love this stuff. I love first team rugby. Come and say hi to me on the sidelines. I know I look like this. This face here is not I'm angry. I just look like that all the time. My mom tells me all the time, it's like, fix your face. I was like, yeah, I don't know how to. It's just like this. So come and say hi to me on the side. I know that I look intimidating. I know that I look scary sometimes. But come and say hello. I'm always up for conversation. I talk heaps. Like, look at me now. I've done 45 minutes or 49 minutes on this, and I haven't really taken a breath. And so, like, I am really approachable. I just look scary, but I love to have conversations, and I love to learn and meet people as well. So come meet me on the sidelines. I'll put out every week which games I'm going to. I work full time as well, so I finish at 5 every morning. And then I have my nana naps, and then I try and get up for whatever games there are. I know Hamilton boys and Grandma are coming up soon. Also, Grandma and New Plymouth boys are coming up soon. I want to try and get to the quad this year down in Nelson. Go see my family there as well. I'm coming down to Motueka, hopefully. That's the plan anyway. I see my auntie for 2 there as well in Nelson, but I want to try and get down to Dunedin as well, because I want to see Otago play Southland. I want to see Waitaki boys and St. Kevin's and their blood match that they have. They're traditional. I love these traditionals. Even St. Bede's and Christchurch boys and Christ. I like that matchup too. I want to get to all these games, but I'll be putting out the ones that I'm going to. I'm going to try and do as much travel as I can. I mean, I've already been to over 15 games already in the preseason. And this is preseason. So by the end of it, I'm going to try and hit at least 50 to 60 games. I think I did 70 something games last year, including like sevens and stuff like that, and a few rep games. But yeah, thanks all for listening anyway. Later, ball.